Welcome to CCF Fast Track. Peter, thank you for that message. You mentioned the formula KFC, which is to have God's blessing, you need to know God's will and do it God's way, and then claim God's blessing. How do we confirm if something is really God's will, God's way, and God's time to be blessed?
The reality is, all of this is biblically based. God's will never contradict His word. God's way will never contradict God's will, God's word. The only thing that you do not know is the timing, when, how long. So the idea is to keep on trusting God, keep on claiming His promises, because God does not tell you when the promise will come, or the blessings or the promise will be answered. But something is sure. The best is going to happen in your life if you follow the principles of knowing God's will, following God's way, and clinging on to His promise. In fact, there's an amazing promise in the Bible. In Romans, those who trust in the Lord will never be disappointed. It's an amazing promise.
Thank you, Peter, for that answer. So, may I ask you another question? What would you advise a person living with a difficult or toxic individual who could actually be a source of danger or harm emotionally, physically, or mentally to that person?
This is where I believe it is important you seek counseling. For us, for me, if the danger is not physical, in other words, it is not a death-threatening situation, only emotional abuse or verbal abuse, then I would suggest don't live, don't split, because God will use those kind of challenges, those kind of pain to mold your character. Do you recall what 1 Peter chapter 3 says? It says, by your respectful behavior, you will win the unbelieving husband to the Lord. It is the power of the silent witness.
Thank you for that. What if after listening to your message, a person realizes that they are the difficult or toxic person in the relationship? How can they change? What can they do?
The secret of growing spiritually is humility. Once you realize you are the difficult person, instead of trying to prove yourself, instead of trying to blame others, you just humble yourself before God and say, Lord, I need to grow. The truth is, all of us need to grow. None of us have arrived. So that should be the attitude. Help me grow. Keep on improving.
And maybe we could apply what you've advised before. You can ask your family members or those in relationship with you, how can I improve? And what is it really like living with me?
Do you know, that is a very good question to ask family members. Ask them from the heart, what is it like living with me? Ask them to answer. You'll be surprised. And don't defend. Just listen. Perhaps the answer will be, it's easy to live with you because you're predictably happy. Oh, it's so hard to live with you because you are so unpredictable. Well, listen and grow. It's never too late to grow.
Thank you very much, Peter, for your answers. And I pray that God has blessed you today.